The sun had just begun its descent behind the rolling hills of the countryside, painting the sky in streaks of gold and crimson. Tom Whitaker wiped the sweat from his brow and leaned on his shovel. His old boots were caked in dirt. His hands were raw and blistered. He stared down at the freshly dug grave, a narrow hole, dark and still, the earth stacked neatly to one side. It had been a long day, the kind of day that settled into your bones and made you question every choice that brought you here. He had dug the grave himself. No one else could, not the sheriff, not the neighbors, just him, alone, with the oppressive weight of what was about to happen pressing down on his shoulders. He wiped another bead of sweat from his temple and muttered to himself, "Just one last step, then it's over." A rustling sound from the nearby trees made him pause. The wind carried it faintly at first, but then he heard it again. A movement, deliberate, too heavy for the small woodland animals that frequented this patch of forest. Tom gripped the shovel tighter, feeling the coarse wood bite into his palms. He told himself it was nothing, that it was just the wind, or maybe a deer. And then came the scream. It was sharp, raw, and filled with terror. Tom stumbled backward, heart hammering in his chest. His eyes darted toward the edge of the clearing. And there she was, a woman, crouched in the grass. Her hair was tangled, her clothes torn and muddy. She stared at him with wide eyes, her hands pressed to her stomach, as if trying to hold herself together. Don't come near me," she gasped. Tom froze. His instincts told him to stay calm, to assess the situation. He lowered the shovel slightly. I'm not here to hurt you," he said, voice rough from tension and dust. The woman's eyes narrowed. She was trembling, partly from fear, partly from some deep, unspoken pain. Then why? Why are you digging a grave? Tom exhaled slowly, trying to steady his nerves. He didn't know if he could explain. Not yet, not without revealing the secrets that had brought him here in the first place. It's complicated, he admitted. Just trust me. Stay back, okay? Her gaze flicked to the hole in the ground, her lips trembling. You can't, she whispered. You can't just... Her words were cut off as another sound approached. A branch snapping underfoot, someone moving closer in the trees. Tom's heart stopped. Whoever or whatever was coming was not gentle, not friendly. "Run," he whispered, more to himself than to her. She shook her head violently. I can't leave." Tom's mind raced. He had come here for closure, for revenge, for justice. All the things he had told himself would bring peace. And now, standing over this grave with her alive in front of him, he realized the truth. He couldn't do it. Not while she was still breathing. And then, she moved. A sudden jerk. A violent convulsion. And she screamed. The scream pierced the air, sharp as a knife. Tom stumbled backward, dropping the shovel. Her eyes met his, wide with terror and pain. "Help me, please!" Tom's chest tightened. Everything he had planned, every ounce of anger and desperation, evaporated in that instant. All he could think about was keeping her alive. He ran to her side, his hands shaking as he grasped her shoulders. "It's okay, I've got you, you're safe now!" She screamed again, thrashing wildly, but Tom held on. Something was wrong, so wrong that he realized she wasn't just terrified. She was injured, and she was carrying something precious. The baby. The next moments blurred together. Tom managed to guide her toward the edge of the clearing, using his body to shield her from the unknown dangers still lurking in the shadows. She was sobbing, exhausted, and he could feel the intensity of her panic through her trembling frame. You're okay, he repeated, almost like a prayer. Her cries slowly softened into whimpers, and for the first time, he could see the woman behind the fear, the vulnerability, the humanity. I'm Anna, she whispered. Tom nodded. Tom Whitaker. Anna looked at him with wide eyes, still shaking. You were going to... I know, he interrupted gently. I know what I was planning, but that stops now. Not while you're alive. Not while there's still a chance. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the clearing. Tom knew their time was limited. Whoever, or whatever, had been chasing her would not give up. And then, he realized the most important truth. It wasn't just her life he needed to protect anymore. It was the life growing inside her. Tom had walked into this day thinking he was prepared to end a story. Instead, he had just begun a new one. The forest around them was dark, damp, and alive with the distant sounds of movement. Tom kept Anna close, one arm around her shoulders, the other holding the shovel in case it became their only weapon. "You have to tell me everything," Tom said quietly. "Why are they after you? Who are they?" Anna shivered, pressing the baby bump against her body. "It's my husband. No, not him. My family. My father, he's powerful, rich, and he doesn't want this child. He's willing to do anything to take it from me." Tom's eyes narrowed. "Anything?" She nodded. "I ran. I tried to hide. But they found me. They've been following me for days." He gritted his teeth. "Then they're about to find out the wrong man got in their way." The wind rustled violently through the trees. Shadows moved in the distance. Tom signaled for her to stay down. He took the shovel and crept closer to the edge of the clearing, scanning for any sign of movement. There it was, footsteps, deliberate, careful. Two figures emerged from the mist. "Anna Whitaker," one of them called. "Step out and nothing happens." Tom stepped forward, blocking her view. "You'll have to get through me first." The men exchanged glances. "That's unfortunate for you," one said, reaching for a weapon. Tom's grip tightened on the shovel. "You picked the wrong day to try this." A tense standoff followed. Tom kept himself between Anna and the intruders, every muscle coiled and ready. He had grown up on the farm, used to hard work and long hours. But this was different. Life and death pressed against him in a way he had never experienced. "You don't understand," the taller man said. "She belongs to my employer. She belongs to him." Tom's heart sank. "Not while I'm standing here. You want her? You'll have to kill me first." The shorter man raised a gun. Tom swung the shovel, the wood connecting with the man's wrist, forcing him to drop the weapon. The taller one lunged, and Tom blocked, shoving him backward with every ounce of strength he had. Anna screamed behind him. "Tom, be careful. I'm fine," he yelled, swinging again. "Just stay back." The men paused for a moment, assessing the unexpected ferocity of the farmer before them. Then, with a curse, they retreated toward the shadows, disappearing into the mist. Tom exhaled shakily, leaning against a tree. His heart pounded, and sweat mixed with the dirt on his face. That was too close," he muttered. Anna ran to him, tears streaming down her face. "You could have been killed." He shook his head. "Not today. Not while you and your baby are alive." The storm from the previous night had left the ground slick and muddy. Tom led Anna to a small ridge overlooking the plains. He knew an old ranger station a few miles east, abandoned but intact. It would provide shelter until he could figure out the next move. As they moved, Anna explained more. "My father, he's ruthless. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about the baby. He only cares about what he can control. And if he can't control it, he destroys it." Tom's jaw clenched. "Then we make sure he doesn't get that chance." Hours passed. The trek was exhausting, and the baby's movements made Anna wince. Tom supported her every step of the way, refusing to let her fall behind. Finally, the old ranger station came into view, hidden among trees and brush. Tom pushed the door open, letting Anna slip inside. He followed, setting the shovel down and quickly barricading the door. "You're safe here," he said softly. Anna collapsed on the floor, holding her stomach. "Thank you. I don't know how I can ever repay you." Tom shook his head. "You don't have to. You just survive. That's enough." She looked up at him, eyes wide. You risked your life for me. For my baby." He shrugged, trying to sound casual. "Some things are bigger than fear, bigger than anger. I couldn't leave you to them." They sat in silence, listening to the wind and the distant rustle of the forest. Tom knew the fight wasn't over. Her father's men would return, and next time they would be prepared. But for now, she was alive, the baby was alive, and that was enough. As night fell, Tom kept watch at the door while Anna slept with her hands protectively over her belly. He thought about how drastically his life had changed in just one day. He had gone from a simple farmer, concerned with crops and livestock, to a man standing between life and death, responsible for two lives he barely knew. And yet, he couldn't deny the pull in his chest, the determination to protect, to fight, and perhaps to care for her in a way he hadn't expected. The forest whispered around him, shadows moving and wind howling. Danger lurked beyond the trees, but Tom, whispered a promise to himself. No matter what came next, he would keep her safe, because some chances only come once. The morning sun barely penetrated the thick canopy of trees surrounding the old ranger station. Tom Whitaker had spent the night awake, listening for any sign of movement outside. The forest was quiet now, almost too quiet, and he couldn't shake the feeling that this calm was a trap. Anna stirred on the cot, rubbing her eyes, the baby nestled safely against her chest. She looked up at Tom, concern etched across her face. "They'll see. I'm back," she said softly. Tom nodded grimly. "I know. And when they do, we'll be ready." Anna's hands tightened around the baby. "I don't even know what they want. My father, he's rich, he has power. But I thought he just wanted the farm, the land, not me." Tom leaned against the wall, rubbing his forehead. "Some people don't care about what's right or fair. They only care about control. And it sounds like your father. He's one of those people." She nodded, tears glimmering in her eyes. I can't lose my baby. I can't." Tom placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You won't. Not while I'm here, I swear it." They spent the day reinforcing the cabin, gathering supplies and barricading weak points. Tom had learned to trust his instincts. He knew these men would be relentless, and he couldn't underestimate them. He also learned something unexpected. Anna was tougher than she looked. Despite her fear and exhaustion, she listened, followed instructions, and even helped him secure the perimeter. Tom felt a flicker of admiration and something else, deeper, he wasn't ready to name. By late afternoon, the distant roar of engines reached them. Tom tensed. The men had returned. "They're coming," he muttered. Anna held the baby tighter. "I'm scared." Tom took a deep breath. "Good, be scared. It keeps you sharp. But remember this, we fight together. No one gets to take this baby." The men arrived, their trucks skidding to a halt at the edge of the clearing. Two of them jumped out, weapons drawn, and began shouting Anna's name. Tom stepped into view, shovel in hand. "You're not taking her," the taller man sneered. "And who's going to stop us? You, a farmer?" Tom's jaw tightened. "Yes, me. If you want her, you'll have to go through me." The men advanced cautiously, aware of the makeshift barricades. Tom held his ground, ready to defend Anna with everything he had. A tense standoff followed. Shouts, threats, and the occasional gunshot echoed through the trees. Tom's heart pounded, but he remained focused, using the environment to his advantage. Rocks, trees, and the terrain itself became tools in his defense. Anna stayed low behind the cot, clutching the baby, her eyes wide but trusting him completely. Hours passed, and the attackers finally retreated, frustrated by Tom's ingenuity and determination. They disappeared into the forest, leaving Tom and Anna alone once again. Tom slumped against the wall, exhausted. That was too close. Anna approached him, her face pale but resolute. You could have been killed." He shook his head. "I told you I won't let them get you, or the baby." She looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude and something warmer, something he felt but didn't fully understand. "I can't believe someone would risk their life for a stranger." "For me," Tom shrugged, trying to hide the warmth creeping into his chest. "Sometimes, you just know what's right, and right now this is right." By nightfall, they settled into an uneasy calm. Tom kept watch, rifle at the ready, while Anna slept, baby in her arms. He thought about how much his life had changed in a single day. He had gone from a man tending to his fields and animals to a protector, a guardian, a fighter. And in protecting Anna and her unborn child, he had discovered something he hadn't expected, a sense of purpose and connection that went far beyond the farm. For the first time, Tom realized that some things, some people, were worth risking everything for, and Anna was one of those things. The next morning, Tom surveyed the clearing outside the ranger station. The forest was quiet, but he knew it was only temporary. The men pursuing Anna were determined, and each day that passed made them more desperate. "We need to move," he said quietly, helping Anna to her feet. The baby rested against her chest, bundled in a warm blanket. Anna nodded, her face pale but resolute. "Where will we go?" "There's an old cabin about 10 miles east," Tom said. "Abandoned, solid. It'll give us a better vantage point and more time to plan. And it's away from the main trails. They won't expect us to head that way." She glanced at him, worry in her eyes. "And what if they catch up to us before we get there?" Tom placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Then we fight, but we'll make it, I promise." They traveled through the dense forest, taking hidden paths Tom knew from years of scouting for the farm. Every branch, every rustle of leaves put them on edge. Anna's grip on the baby tightened with each step, and Tom could feel her fear radiating, mixing with his own. At one point, they heard the rumble of engines in the distance. Tom froze, signaling for her to crouch. "They're close," he whispered. Anna swallowed hard. "I'm scared." "Good," Tom muttered. "Fear keeps you sharp, but remember, this is about protecting your baby. Focus on that. You'll make it." They continued through a narrow ravine, keeping low and silent. The sound of the engines grew, then faded as Tom's knowledge of the terrain allowed them to slip through a hidden side path. By mid-afternoon, the abandoned cabin came into view. It was small but sturdy, surrounded by dense trees and hidden from the main trail. Tom helped Anna inside, quickly securing doors and windows. "You're safe here, for now," he said. Anna sank onto the floor, exhausted, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you. I don't know how I could ever repay you." Tom shook his head. "You don't have to. Just survive. That's all I ask." She looked at him, her expression softening. "I don't even know your name." "Tom," he said. "Tom Whitaker." "Tom," she whispered. "You risked everything for a stranger. For me and my baby. I couldn't leave you," Tom admitted quietly. "Some things you just do. No one deserves to be hunted like that." Anna's eyes glistened. She reached out, placing a hand on his arm. "You've changed my life, and I think you've changed mine too." Tom felt a warmth in his chest he hadn't felt in years, a connection that went beyond gratitude or survival. He shook it off, focusing on the task at hand, keeping them alive. The night was long. Tom stayed awake, keeping watch while Anna slept with the baby close. Every sound, every crack of a branch made him tense. He knew the danger wasn't over. The father's men were cunning, powerful, and relentless, but he also knew something else. He had found a reason to fight harder than ever before. For Anna, for her baby, and, though he wouldn't admit it yet, for himself. As the wind whispered through the trees, Tom realized that this day, this fight, had changed him in ways he never expected. He had gone from a simple farmer to a protector, a guardian, and he knew, deep in his heart, that he would never go back to the life he had before, because some people and some moments only come once. The dawn broke over the forest, casting a pale light on the abandoned cabin. Tom Whitaker checked the perimeter one last time. Anna was inside, holding her baby, exhaustion and anxiety etched into her face. "They'll come," she whispered, her voice tight. Tom stepped closer, resting a steady hand on her shoulder. Let them come. We're ready. And this time we end it. By mid-morning, the engines of the father's men roared in the distance. They had found the trail, and there was no escaping the confrontation this time. Tom positioned Anna and the baby in a secure corner of the cabin, out of sight. He placed himself between them and the doorway, shovel in hand, heart pounding. The first man kicked open the door. "Anna Whitaker! Come with us!" "I don't think so," Tom said firmly, gripping his weapon. The man laughed, stepping inside, but a swift motion from Tom sent him stumbling back. The fight was on. Tom used every skill he had, every ounce of strength and cunning. He blocked, dodged, and pushed with determination fueled by love and duty. Anna held her baby tight, crying but safe, while Tom's shouts and grunts echoed through the cabin. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, the men realized the cabin was too well defended, and Tom too formidable. Frustrated, they retreated, cursing and threatening, but they did not return. Tom slumped against the wall, chest heaving. "It's over. For now," he muttered. Anna rushed to him, tears streaming down her face. "You saved us. You really saved us." "No," he said, shaking his head. "You saved yourselves. I just made sure no one stopped you." Weeks later, Anna and the baby were settled on Tom's farm. The father's influence had been legally nullified, his men arrested, and the baby's safety secured. The house, the land, and the open plains became their sanctuary. One evening, as the sun set, Anna sat on the porch, the baby in her arms. Tom joined her silently. "You know," she said softly, "I didn't think I'd ever feel safe again. But you changed everything." Tom reached for her hand, smiling gently. "I didn't change anything. I just couldn't leave you to them. I wasn't going to." Her eyes softened. "You risked everything for a stranger. For me and my child." He shrugged, feeling the warmth growing in his chest. Some things are bigger than fear, bigger than anger, bigger than life itself. And right now, this is everything. The baby cooed, reaching for Tom's hand. He lifted the tiny fingers carefully, glancing at Anna. She rested her head on his shoulder, whispering, "So, this is our beginning?" "Yes," Tom said, kissing the top of her head. "Our beginning." The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the plains in gold and crimson. Tom looked at Anna and the baby, realizing that what had begun as a day of darkness, fear, and vengeance had transformed into something extraordinary: hope, love, and family. Sometimes, he thought, saving a stranger doesn't just change their life, it changes yours too. And for Tom Whitaker, Anna, and their child, it was the start of a life they would face together, fearless and full of love.